turns straight to that breaking news out of Munich. Nearly 30 people have been injured, with 2 in a critical condition after a car drove through a large crowd in what police say is a suspected attack.
Yes, the arrested driver has now been confirmed as a 24-year-old Afghan asylum seeker known to police.
Well, joining us now is our national reporter, Charlie Peters, because, Charlie, this is a curious incident. Firstly, we saw that picture there, a Mini Cooper, as this... I'm confused.
Yes, so usually when we've seen these sort of car ramming attacks, and we should stress this is now a suspected attack, you typically associate the vehicle to be something heavier than a Mini Cooper. And when we first saw that picture this morning, I think some people were a little bit confused as to whether this was a car ramming attack or perhaps an incident where someone could have had a medical issue and they were accelerating due to them perhaps passing out behind the wheel. There was some discussion in Munich about whether the person had confused the accelerator with the brake. But we have to say now, with more recent reports, that theory's support is dwindling, as it's been confirmed that a 24-year-old Afghan has been detained. The driver involved in the accident is an asylum seeker who has already been known to the police for drug and theft offences. And at a press conference in the last hour, the Bavarian Prime Minister Markus Söder said that this is suspected to be an attack. And he continued, "The attack shows that I have to change something in Germany, and quickly. It simply hurts when, as Prime Minister, he has an event in Aschaffenburg in January and now in Munich." He added, "It's just enough." And with regards to that other event he was referring to, on the 22nd of January, a 2-year-old boy and a man aged 41 were killed in a stabbing in a German park, and the police confirmed at the end of January that a 28-year-old man from Afghanistan was arrested following an attack in that Bavarian city as well. And we're seeing on your screens now the Mini Cooper involved in this incident, with the boot open clearly for the police to investigate. But I just want to draw your attention to the front. For those listening on the radio, the windscreen is severely damaged. The glass has been cracked quite aggressively. And we did hear reports from the Bild newspaper earlier this morning that shots had been fired, according to eyewitnesses. And there were some reports that a police marksman had shot at the windscreen in an attempt to gain access to the vehicle to detain the driver. The doors were locked when people rushed to the car originally. That's what some eyewitnesses were telling local German media. And it was around 10:30 a.m. local time, or 9:30 in Britain, when the driver is said to have accelerated and sped into demonstrators on the Siedelstrasse, which is the road you're seeing here, a major arterial road coming out of Munich towards Dachau. Now, police investigations were working urgently to clarify whether he drove into the crowd intentionally or confused the accelerator and the brake. But it appears now, after that press conference, what we've heard from the Bavarian police and the Prime Minister, that this is a suspected attack, and that theory has really dwindled in its relevance.
OK, and the man arrested, 24-year-old Afghan asylum seeker, do we know, I'm not sure if we do yet, but do we know if he had been granted asylum in Germany? I ask because clearly he's been caught with other offences. You say drug and theft offences. Question why he was allowed to stay in Germany rather than deported, perhaps.
Yeah, all we know at this stage is that the alleged perpetrator is an asylum seeker from Afghanistan who's known to police. We don't know if he's been granted asylum. More details we expect will come out on that later. And as you say, at least 30 injured, some of them critically. A local daily newspaper called Süddeutsche was reporting about an hour ago that one woman had been killed. We've not had that verified by the local authorities. We also have been told that a child's life was in danger. Some eyewitnesses saying at the time of this incident that a mother and a child, and possibly also a man, were underneath that Mini Cooper when it came to a halt, having rammed into that crowd of people. And many at home will be asking, who were the people on the street? Who was on the Siedelstrasse? That was of the Verdi rally. This is a significant trade union in Germany, the second largest. They're currently going through a major walkout strike in a pay dispute. They're asking for an 8% rise, and it's led to at least 1,000 people were on the streets there. But yeah, so as it stands, at least 30 seriously injured, some of them critically, some unconfirmed reports of deaths there as well, and a 24-year-old Afghan has been detained.
OK, well, Charlie, do stay with us. We're going to go over to Berlin now, where Julian Reichelt, the editor-in-chief of News, is for us. Because, Julian, this is a really significant moment in Germany. Just can you lay out the context? We're 10 days away from a federal legislative election.
Exactly. We're 10 days away from the federal election here in Germany. And the number one topic of this election already has been illegal immigration. There hasn't been a month now without a severe attack. We had an attack on a Christmas market, similar attack, car driving through a Christmas market by a man from Saudi Arabia in December. Then we had an attack by an Afghan man only a few weeks ago in January on children, a group of kindergarten children in a beautiful park in Bavaria. A child was killed with stabs to the throat. And now, only a few weeks later, this attack in Munich. And this will definitely turn on the heat on all parties that have carried a completely failed and deadly a policy of illegal immigration since 10 years, for a decade, since Angela Merkel opened the borders in 2015. All parties except the right-wing AfD have carried that policy for the past 10 years. You know, they've promised to make changes. They have promised to get tougher on illegal immigration. And again, this is one of the cases we're talking about here. All the people who are coming from Afghanistan and who request asylum will in most cases never get it. They still get to stay in Germany. And this, more and more frequently is the result of it. So, this campaign already has been about immigration only and about these kind of violent attacks. And that will intensify in the last 10 days before the election on February 23rd here.
Yeah, I mean, Julian, there have been an astonishing number of attacks by refugees and asylum seekers in Germany in just the last couple of years. You talk about illegal migration, but presumably these people were invited into the country.
Well, at least they were attracted by, a great welfare state. Obviously, when you cross into Germany on your feet, you're not in danger. Crossing from Poland, you're crossing from Austria, you're crossing from France. You're not crossing into Germany from a war zone. You're not fleeing into Germany. And that's what our law says. There is no legal way to cross into Germany on feet because there is no country at war around Germany. So, whoever is coming here has...
I know, Julian, but I cast my mind back to Angela Merkel's decision, for example, to allow Syrian refugees.
Yes. Angela Merkel, during the times of the Syrian war, sent out that signal of open borders, and that signal wasn't only happily accepted by people who were actually fleeing war, but, by many, many other people, and it has been perpetuated for the past 10 years. And the truth is, we have no idea who's coming here. The people who are coming, rarely have documents, rarely have papers, rarely have passports. They throw them away. We have no idea who's coming into our country. And, this is a pretty obvious result. A major attack per month now for the past quarter of a year. It is a pretty staggering sign of I would say the biggest failure in political history in Germany after the war.
This is a hugely significant moment. Of course, we've now started calling this a suspected attack. That is following the words of Markus Söder, the Minister-President of Bavaria, who gave a press conference not so long ago. Also in that press conference, we learn not just that this is now being treated as a suspected attack, but the Minister-President was saying that things need to change. Obviously, he's a significant figure within the CDU-CSU political coalition, currently leading in the polls. What is the policy of that sort of centre-right in Germany? What could change after the general election?
Look, all I have left in me, and I'm sorry if that comes across as a bit of cynical, is to laugh, because the CDU was the creator of this policy. Now they have promised, after our last attack, where a child was stabbed in the throat, they are ready to change something. And they would even do it with the majority that exists in parliament to change that with the AfD. So they've promised to do that. Only days after, they backtracked that and they said, we're only going to change that policy if the Social Democrats and the Green Party, the two left parties in parliament, agree to do it with us. We're not going to do it with the existing majority of that party on the right, with the AfD. So the truth is, nothing is going to change. They have said that they are only willing to do that with left parties that are not willing to change anything about it. These parties, at their core, have open borders and those deadly policies. The CDU, publicly said they're committed to changing it, but they don't have a majority and they're not willing to accept the existing majority to the truth is, save people's lives and protect people's lives.
And Julian, it's easy to say you change. It's easy to say you'd like to change something now, but I imagine a lot of the German public wanted something to change a long time ago. Julian Reichelt, thank you very much indeed.